Joining us now is Naphtali Bensimon, a journalist and member of the Likud Party, with more on the resignation of Defense Minister Lieberman and the coalition crisis his absence may cause. Naphtali, thank you so much for coming back in today.
Good evening.
All right, so first of all, what are your initial reactions to Lieberman's resignation? Why do you think he did it, and who do you think is the real beneficiary of this resignation?
Well, there is no doubt that it's a political earthquake. Not every day the Minister of Defense is resigning, and 24 hours after a ceasefire, a very fragile ceasefire with Hamas. So it's obviously it's a political earthquake, and we are asking ourselves now who will come next after Lieberman. And there are some choices, and Prime Minister Netanyahu have to decide very fast before it will become more fragile. His coalition, who will replace Lieberman, or we are going to a new election.
So that's actually really my next question anyway, is what do you think is more likely? Are we headed to elections, or do you think that it's more likely that Netanyahu will find somebody, anyone, at some point to fill the role?
Well, it's not the best time and the best timing for Prime Minister Netanyahu to go for an election. It's not good for him now,
and a lot of different pending cases.
The public criticism sure. It's not good. But with a coalition of 61 members without Lieberman and his party, it will be very difficult. And of course, he will not hold this portfolio of the Minister of Defense, Netanyahu, and he will bring someone. And the question who will be? Naphtali? No, not me. Naphtali Bennett, or someone from outside. And as we can see, Naphtali Bennett, he can make some problems for the coalition. So now, what I see here is we are like playing a political game on the back of the citizen of the South. And the ridiculous situation is that after this resignation, I think the biggest winner of the day is Hamas, unfortunately.
All right, so, my final question today is, assuming somebody like Bennett or Ayelet Shaked does take up the defense ministry position, and as you said, they have a lot to bargain with, mostly their position in the coalition. So if they were to take up the new defense ministry position, how would their policies actually even really change that from Lieberman's?
It will not be any change, any difference, but at least they want to show to the public that you have to understand, Aaron, being a Minister of Defense, it's a statement, it's a political statement that you can be also a Prime Minister. In Israel, if you are not a Minister of Defense, if you are not a general, if you are not someone that saw the enemy from close, it's impossible to be a Prime Minister. And Naphtali Bennett think only about that, how he can be a Prime Minister from this position of Minister of Defense. But it's that. Do you think he will have any different policy towards Gaza?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
All right, Naphtali, thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
Naphtali Bensimon.